What if I told you that two companies behind the world's first CRISPR gene therapy are now racing against each other to solve the same billion-dollar problem, and your investment returns could depend on who wins? Hey there, welcome to Share Trek, and I'm your host Raj. Let's dig into it. When Vertex Pharmaceuticals committed $45 billion upfront with potential milestone payments exceeding $2 billion to partner with Enlaza Therapeutics, they didn't just reveal a critical weakness in their blockbuster gene therapy Casgevy, they declared war on their former partner, Crispr Therapeutics, in a race that could determine which company dominates the future of gene therapy. Let's start with what both companies got right. Casgevy, the joint creation of Vertex and Crispr Therapeutics, made history as the world's first FDA-approved CRISPR gene therapy. The science is breathtaking. Doctors extract a patient's bone marrow cell, use CRISPR to edit. Let's start with what both companies got right. Casgevy, the joint creation of Vertex and Crispr Therapeutics, made history as world's first FDA-approved gene therapy. CRISPR-edited gene therapy. The science is breathtaking. Doctors extract a patient's bone marrow cell, use CRISPR tools to edit the genes responsible for sickle cell disease, then return the corrected cells to cure the patient. I've given it a very high-level explanation to you. You can look at our past videos for more detailed explanation. The clinical results have been phenomenal. Patients who lived with a debilitating pain crisis are now essentially cured. And the FDA approval came in December 2023 for sickle cell disease, followed very quickly by approval for beta thalassemia in early 2024. And it validated everything CRISPR Therapeutics investors had believed about the technology's potential. But here's what the celebration headlines missed. Casgevy's commercial success is being artificially capped by a brutal conditioning regimen that both companies are now desperately trying to solve. Before patients can receive their gene-edited cells, they must undergo conditioning. Weeks of intensive chemotherapy designed to destroy their existing bone marrow. This isn't a minor medical procedure. We are talking about extended hospital stays lasting 4 to 6 weeks, high-dose chemotherapy with severe side effects including nausea, fatigue, and infection risk, treatment costs exceeding $2 million per patient, significant complication that many patients cannot simply tolerate. From an investment perspective, this is catastrophic. Sickle cell disease affects over 100,000 Americans and 20 million people globally. Beta thalassemia affects hundreds of thousands more. At current Casgevy pricing of around $2.2 million per treatment, we are looking at addressable market worth tens of billions of dollars. But if only 30 to 40% of eligible patients can tolerate current conditioning regimens, both Vertex and CRISPR are leaving 60 to 70% of potential revenue on the table. That's not market inefficiency. That's a fundamental problem that's limiting the commercial potential of their shared breakthrough. Here's where the story gets strategically fascinating for CRISPR investors. Rather than partnering externally like Vertex, CRISPR Therapeutics is developing their own conditioning solution in-house. CRISPR's approach centers on an anti-CD117 antibody drug conjugate that targets specific stem cell markers for elimination rather than using broad-spectrum chemotherapy. Their preclinical data presented at recent medical conferences show promise. Effective stem cell depletion in non-human primate studies, successful engraftment of gene-edited cells comparable to current standards, reduced systemic toxicity versus traditional chemotherapy conditioning. These are all the positives. For CRISPR shareholders, this presents a massive opportunity if the internal conditioning agent succeeds. They would own the entire value chain from gene editing technology to conditioning preparation to final treatment delivery. That's platform control that could generate decades of sustainable competitive advantage. But there's a catch. CRISPR's approach is still in preclinical development. While the science looks promising, they're likely 2 to 3 years away from clinical trials and even longer from potential market approval. Whereas Vertex external partnership is an aim by Vertex to prioritize speed over control. Vertex took a completely different strategic approach. Rather than developing conditioning technology internally, they're betting $2 billion plus that Enlaza Therapeutics and their Warlock platform can solve the problem faster and better than CRISPR's internal efforts. Enlaza's covalent biologics create targeted agents that permanently bind and specifically to problem cells. Think precision guided elimination versus chemotherapy carpet bombing. This approach has some potential advantages, and those potential advantages include dramatically reduce hospital stays from weeks to potentially days, lower toxicity, expanding patient ability significantly, reducing treatment costs, improving healthcare system adoption, and better patient experience, driving higher acceptance rates. Most of these benefits will also come to CRISPR if their internal conditioning agent succeeds. For Vertex investors, this partnership represents both opportunity and risk. The upside, if Warlock succeeds, Vertex could capture expanded market share before CRISPR's internal solution reaches the market. The downside, they are dependent on external technology and sharing economics with a partner. What we are witnessing is essentially a strategic chess match between former partners. And the advantages for CRISPR are complete platform control, no external dependencies, full economic capture, whereas the risk for CRISPR is longer development timeline, higher internal R&D costs, single shot on goal. And the timeline for CRISPR seems to be 3 to 5 years to market given preclinical stage, assuming that the FDA does not have any significant delays or lack of resource due to the new leadership dispensation at FDA. Now, if you look at it from the Vertex point of view, Vertex strategies, external partnership, and the advantages of Vertex for Vertex is potential faster timeline, shared development risk, multiple platform applications, and that risk is basically external dependency, shared economics, partner execution risk. And apart from that, if you look at the timeline, some experts believe that they could have a 12 to 18-month timeline and they could come up ahead of CRISPR if Enlaza delivers. Now, that's a big if because it's up to Enlaza how fast and how better their technology is and how quickly they're able to clear the clinical trials. Now, the winner of this race doesn't just solve a medical problem, they potentially capture disproportionate market share in what could become a $50 billion plus gene therapy market. What this means for each company's investment thesis. Now, let's look at what this means for each company's investment thesis. For Crispr Therapeutics, bull case is enhanced if their anti-CD117 conditioning agent succeeds. CRISPR becomes the only company controlling both gene editing and conditioning technology. This platform dominance could drive superior long-term economics and market positionings, and the conditioning agent could probably be deployed into other therapies of CRISPR and other companies which need bone marrow depletion. And recent preclinical trial data suggests the approach is viable and internal development timelines, while longer, provide complete strategic control to CRISPR Therapeutics. Now, for those who are bears on CRISPR, so here's the CRISPR bear case. The internal development approach is higher risk and potentially slower to market. If Vertex's external partnership succeeds first, CRISPR could find themselves playing catch up in their own market. The opportunity cost of internal development versus external partnership could prove costly. Now, let us look at Vertex bull case amplified, right? This is bull case on steroids. The Enlaza partnership could provide Vertex first mover advantage in next generation conditioning while building platform capabilities beyond gene therapy. The $45 million upfront investment is minimal relative to potential returns, and success-based milestones align incentives effectively. Now, let us look at the risk factors for this for Vertex in this situation. Dependency on external technology creates execution risk outside of their control. If Enlaza fails to deliver while CRISPR's internal approach succeeds, Vertex could find themselves at a permanent competitive disadvantage in their own breakthrough therapy. Smart investors will notice that both approaches extend beyond fixing Casgevy's conditioning problem. CRISPR's CD117 approach could potentially be applied to other gene therapies and cell-based treatments, creating a broader conditioning platform for their expanding pipeline. Whereas Vertex Warlock partnership includes rights to autoimmune applications and other therapeutics areas, potentially opening up entirely new markets beyond gene therapy. Both companies are essentially building next-generation platforms that could define competitive positioning across multiple therapeutics areas for the next decade. And The most telling aspect of this strategic divergence might be what it reveals about each company's confidence and capabilities. CRISPR's internal approach suggests they believe their scientific capabilities can deliver superior solutions while maintaining complete platform control. It's bet on their R&D engine versus external innovation shows confidence. Vertex's external partnership might indicate they view speed to market as more valuable than complete platform control. It's a bet on execution velocity versus internal development timelines. Both strategies have merit, but the company that solves conditioning first and most effectively will likely capture outsized market share in what could become one of medicine's most valuable therapeutic categories. For investors trying to evaluate these competing approaches, consider this time horizon. For example, short-term investors might favor Vertex's potentially faster external partnership timeline. Long-term investors might prefer CRISPR's platform control strategy. In terms of risk tolerance, CRISPR's internal approach offers more control but higher execution risk, whereas Vertex's partnership shares risk but introduces external dependencies. What if the external partner was not as agile and as fast? And what if they find another partnership for some of their other pipeline items, which are more lucrative? So those are the risks for Vertex. Then let us look at market dynamics. The gene therapy conditioning market is large enough for multiple winners, but first mover advantages could prove decisive in physician and player adoption. You're witnessing a fascinating strategic divergence between two companies that created one of biotech's biggest breakthroughs. Crispr Therapeutics is betting on internal innovation and platform control, while Vertex is betting on external partnership and speed to market. Both approaches could succeed, but the timing and execution will likely determine which company captures more value from the gene therapy revolution they jointly created. And for CRISPR's investors, I would say that the internal conditioning development represents a massive value creation opportunity if executed successfully. Platform control could drive superior long-term economics, but the timeline risk is real. Whereas for Vertex investors, the Enlaza partnership provides multiple shots on the goal and potentially faster market entry, but introduces external dependencies that could prove costly if the technology fails. The most important insight from my perspective is that both companies clearly believe that solving the conditioning problem is worth billions in potential value creation. This question isn't whether this problem needs solving, it's which approach will prove superior in the race to market. Positioning size should reflect your conviction about internal development versus external partnership, platform control versus speed to market, and long-term value creation versus near-term competitive positioning. So friends, my own personal feeling is that whatever happens, the patients are the winners here. If both the strategies succeed, then patients have more choice, and the competition between the two conditioning agents would give a much better pricing option for the patients and better choices. It is also going to expand the pie. More sickle cell disease patients and beta thalassemia patients who earlier could not withstand the rigor of the conditioning system would now be eligible and will expand the market. So all of them will be a winner. Now, my question to you is this: which strategy do you think will win? CRISPR's internal development bet or Vertex's external partnership approach? And how are you positioning your portfolio around this conditioning race? Please drop your thoughts in the comment section. And if this analysis helped you in any way, and you understand the stakes in this multi-billion-dollar competition, please smash that like button, because it helps YouTube send this video to more people like you who want to watch exactly this kind of a content. And you'll be helping me big time and the channel as well. If you're not yet subscribed, please subscribe and help grow this channel. Thanks and have a great day. Bye for now.